Well. If you've been a fan of investing on treasury bonds and you've been waiting for that particular bond that is usually tax-free, in Kenya we call it IFB, infrastructure bond. Basically, this is money that the government collects for the purposes of investing in the infrastructure, be it either roads or rails and what have you. Now, guess what? The last one now we had was actually back in 2024 on March. All those months, say 4 of them, we've never gotten any IFB until now. I'm making this video on July of 2024, around 27th, thereabout. Okay, we have a new bond that has actually been reopened. Anyway, this is not a new bond, it's actually a older one that has been reopened. Guess what? I have to shed a little bit of light for you to understand what are these bonds, okay? But I've made a lot of videos about these bonds and bills and what have you. Okay, now, see, when we say that the bond has been reopened, it means that the bond was there. Actually, this is a last year's bond, that is 2023 year's bond, that actually been reopened, meaning the bond had opened then, that is 2023. People did their bidding, they submitted their cash, and the bond was closed, was not available. But now they have realized one thing. Hey, I don't know the parameters they use. I'm just assuming. Hey, they've realized, be like, okay, fine. I think we can reopen the bond to actually get more money to go ahead and finance our projects and what have you. So they reopen the bond and they say, you know what, guys? That bond was actually, there are two bonds that have actually been opened. We have a bond that we call it, I'm not going to name the names and what have you. All I know is actually a 6.5 years bond, means that is going for 6.5 years and is actually trading at around 14.93, but confirm this figure, confirm, but all I know it's around 14 point something. Okay, you can confirm it to get the actual, so don't crucify me on the comment section. Okay, B, we have another one that is actually at around 17.93 blah 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 percent, and is actually going for 17 years. Okay, now these two bonds have actually reopened and you can actually bid it, and the deadline is actually 14th of August for you to invest on these bonds. And obviously they're coming in for you to catch up with what we call, they have actually what we call accrued interest. They have accrued interest. Simply means that, for example, I'm using as an example, I'm not going to go to the actual details. This is what I mean by the accrued interest. Let's say this bond for 6.5 years, they usually pay, say, March and September. For example, March and September. That means if you invest now, that is on August, September, there is coupon. Coupon is the interest coming in. So if that coupon is coming in, you will get the entire coupon. Let's say, for example, you invest your $1 million shilling. Let's say you invest your $1 million shilling, okay, into this one that goes for, what do we call it? For 15, for 14.9, let's just call it 15. It's not 15, but let's just call it 15 for simple mathematics, okay? Now, that means in an year, you start to gain 15% of $1 million, it's 150K, 150,000. This is what it means. Because the bonds usually pay 2 times per year, which is semi-annually. Semi-annually simply means after every 6 months. Therefore, it means in an year, they pay 2 times. Okay, let's say they pay March and September. If they pay March and September, if you bid for this bond at around August, you're just a month away from receiving the coupon. And the coupon is actually this 150,000, which you start to gain at the end of the year, is divided into 2 because you are paid 2 times in a year. So it's 75,000, the first one, and the 75,000, the first 2. So the phase of the money that is 175, or rather 75K was paid on March. And then the next one will actually be paid on September. And it's just a single month. Obviously, yours haven't been in what? In that period. So you have to pay for that accrued interest, and then that accrued interest, because at the August, that the next month, you'll be paid 75,000. But obviously your money hasn't made that 75,000. So you have to actually catch up with that accrued interest. It's like telling you, hey, you know what? In a month's time, we will pay you, but that money is not yours. So what you do, pay us now, you pay us now that money, and then we're going to pay it back to you because it is not yours. Wait, I hope I'm making sense on that. That's what it means by the accrued interest. That's why you find the bond for this goes for maybe say 104, others goes for 106, yeah? in between. There is one that goes for 104. I think this one for the 6.5 goes for the 104, and this one goes for the 106. What do I mean by this? You know, governments usually quote their values in terms of 100 shilling. It's like this. This is how it goes. You know, we have three types of bond. We have the par, we have the discounted, and we have what we call the premium. So what happens, for example, if it's at par, the government says this: hey, you know what? Do you have 100 shilling with you? Okay, fine. I want you to lend me your 100 shilling. When we talk about the discounted, this is what the government says: hey, you know what? Lend me your 100 shilling. But when you're sending it, send 98 shilling. But when you return, we will return the 100 shilling. That means you've been sort of given a discount of 2 shilling at every 100 shilling. Hope I'm making sense on that. Now, that is when you get a discount. Now, there's what we call at par. Lend us 100 shilling, and when you're sending, send the 100 shilling. So whatever they ask you and what you're sending is equal. All right, so that is as par. I'm using the layman's language. Of course, there is another complicated language that I could have used, but I don't want to confuse you. And then because people tend to ask me, hey Joseph, the money that I'm being told to send is actually different from what I bid. Now this is the point. Okay, now the last one, which you might not like it mostly, it's called the premium. This is one, and this is basically what's happening there. But not kinda, but kinda. Now this is what happens. Say, you know what? Lend us your 100 shilling, but don't send us 100 shilling. Guess what? Send us 1 or 2 shilling. That means, and when you're returning, we'll return you the 100 shilling. That means the 2 bob bits just gone somewhere. So that means that that particular bond was actually a premium one. Hope I made sense on that again. Now, see what happens in now. This IFB, the infrastructure bond, is usually tax free. You don't pay any tax. So if they say it's 14.93, everything you get out there, say you invest your million shilling, you get your 149,000 thereabout, you get all that cash. You don't get to be deducted any taxes. Thank God the finance bill didn't pass. That's why we're enjoying this thing, okay? If you invest on this for the 17 years, it goes for 17.93. That means that whatever you get out of that, say if you invest your million shilling, you're going to get yourself around 179,000 a year. That is quite of a good amount of money, seriously. And I love when I see this kind of interest, because this has a direct effect on the money market funds. Because money market funds, these are the areas where the investor, although mostly money market funds tend to incline towards the bills, because bills are short term compared to the bonds, which are long term. See, when you say long term, it's from 1 year all the way to 30 years. Bills are all the way from 3 months to 1 year. They don't go beyond that. And you know, the rules of the money market fund ought to keep you liquid at any given moment. All right, so I hope I'm making sense on that particular point. Now here we are. See, when we say this bond is actually tax free, indeed it's tax free. And how much do you need to get started with? Only 50,000 Kenyan shillings. That's less than $500. That's all what you need to get your money each and every time. And by the way, another thing about this bond is that in Kenya we usually have 2 types of bonds. We have the IFB bond, that is infrastructure bond, which is tax free. We usually have another bond that is called the FXD, or fixed deposit coupon, or fixed coupon bond, and what have you. For that one, you have to pay the tax, and tax usually ranges from 10% all the way to 15%. So I'm actually shedding a little bit of light to show you these are some of the opportunities that you can actually grab it out there. And by the way, this bond is actually an amortized bond. Amortized bond basically means it's a bond that actually you tend to be given back a percentage of your money as time goes by. Maybe after 2 years, you get a certain fraction of your money back to you. For anybody who invests, I think it's around 5 million and below, or a million and below, or thereabout. You know, this is whereby maybe say if it's amortized, maybe after 2 years, if you invested anything 5 million and below, maybe you get like $1 million bob back, or 2 million bob back, and then the 3 million is left in there. Then the next interest, of course, you'll get will be less, because some of the principals has actually been sent back to you. So the remaining principal will attract the interest, and then after a certain period, another money is sent back to you. Basically, this is a tool that is used by the government, so not to, you know, load themselves with a lot of money that they have to pay in a particular period of time. You can imagine if, you know, that they just retain that money all that long period of time, and then let's say time X reaches, and then they have to pay all that amount of money. So they are needed to be liquid instantly at a certain particular point, and that one can actually affect the shocks of the economies and what have you. I don't want to get into the deeper parts of the economies, but I bet you're getting some points here and there. So that's why it's called an amortized, where they return that money in phases. You don't have to wait until the 60 years lapses for you to get back your money. So you get that money in phases. And I know there's a question cooking right now. Oh, what if I get some bad bit of my money in phases? Do I still attract the same interest of the entire amount of money? No. I mean, come on. You can't eat your cake and have it at the same time. Yeah, that is exactly what happens on these bills and bonds. And you know what? People tend to think like it is not possible to lend the government. It's a quite of a complicated process and what have you. Oh, Joseph, how safe is the investment and what have you. Now, if you want to get that more information, more guidance on the same, you know what? There's always two phases of information. There is the free version and there is a premium version. All what I share here, it is actually a free version of your understanding, just bringing you to speed, because I haven't shared on how you can actually be able to open an account, how can you actually go ahead and invest and what have you, all that processes, because I believe before you even decide to invest on this bond, there's some of the information I would love to gather from you, because just because the bond is available does not mean you can just pick it up and go with it. This is probably not what you want, because hey, I would love to listen first to what you want, where you are heading, what is your goal, and then we check on this vehicle whether it is the appropriate one. For example, in Kenya we usually have matatus are the public transport, and these matatus, they ply different routes, and if they ply different routes, it means that you cannot just randomly get into any given matatu and assume it will take you home. No, I mean, you really need to know what is the number, what is the route, where it's the destination, and what have you. These are vehicles to take you to your destination. These are vehicles to take you to your goal, your target, to that thing that you have. And again, just because it's a vehicle that can take you, does not mean it should take you. Right? Because may be applying a different route. That's why I say I would love to listen to you first, and I always highly encourage, and I always put that on my description of any given video. Whatever I share here, it's my view, it's what's happening out there, it's opportunities out there. I did not say that, hey, you have to put all down your tools, go to your bank, break your bank, get your money, put in a bills or bonds and what have you. No, always get to contact your financial advisor and ask them, oh, this is what I'm aiming to get, this is where I'm heading, how do I get there? What exactly would be the best route for me to follow for me to achieve that specific thing. So if you would like us to have an extensive conversation as far as the investments are concerned and get to understand you better on what you can be able to do, then with that we can be able, or you can actually go ahead and grab that number of mine from the description of this specific video, shoot me a call or a text, then we can be able to have a discussion of what is actually appropriate and right for you to invest on as we move together. Now, that is it. I just wanted to make sure that I put that information to you so that you don't be left out. And whenever if you have this opportunity, by God's grace, I'll be coming here and share the information with you. And I believe we can, even if we'll never make the world a better place, at least we can make our pockets a better place. That is good, Joseph speaking. I post videos about money market fund, bills, bonds, investments, making money, putting that money, investing it, growing with it, and also inculcating habits and color. Okay, here we go. My Canva is showing not character, but character as far as the growth is concerned. That is it. That is it. Go ahead, guys. Make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button. Oh, by the way, have you ever asked yourself, why do I always insist, hit the like button, subscribe? Now, let me explain this today. When we say like the video, the more the video is liked, the more we bring in people, the more we grow bigger, the more we bring people of different caliber and character with also different information that we can learn from. So when you give the video like, it gets to be shared by most of the people. And when we say, or when I say, go ahead and subscribe, is you to be notified by YouTube whenever I upload a new good video. So you won't see an can you imagine this if you didn't subscribe and another bond is actually open. So you will never be notified this video was made. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, I missed that video. Now that's why you need to subscribe and hit that like button as well as subscription. And by the way, if you're in a position to share this video with your groups, with your family members, and your boyfriends and girlfriends, they need to invest. Anyway, goodbye. See you in the next one.